Sales Wisdom Podcast with Frank Sondors. He is co-founder, CEO at Salesforge. So we're going to talk sales, AI, investing, everything in between. Frank, welcome to the pod. Tell us a bit more about yourself and tell us a bit more about Salesforge.
Hey guys, my name is Frank. Been in sales, B2B, just over a decade. Whether that's in the frontline sales, doing sales, closing a lot of deals, or leading large sales teams, done it all. And decided to exit my last gig and disrupt the sales technology space, particularly called email outreach space, where a lot of folks just have been sending a bunch of templates at scale, and I thought that's not good enough. So I built ultimately software just recently that we launched that allows you to essentially personalize every single email at scale to every individual. So yeah, that's what we've been doing for a while. A small team, we're just growing right now, and otherwise, yeah, looking forward to have a chat.
Love it. Let's start with all the countries you visited. That was our conversation last time. You traveled a whole bunch, 30 countries, I think you mentioned. What insights did you gain from that?
Very good question. So yeah, I've been to like over 70, so traveled the whole Europe and then a bunch of other countries outside of Europe. I guess one insight that, like traveling for me is just something normal. It's like a hobby. I would, back in the days before I had kids and before I had a wife, back in the days, I would literally every second weekend, I would jump on the plane. For those of you that are aware, back in the days, Ryanair used to be like, Ryanair is still really huge here in Europe. So just jump on a plane, go to somewhere during the weekend, explore a bunch of different cities, countries, etc. Buy a magnet that I'll put in the fridge. I have like, I think over 200 magnets by now, to be honest. So I collect one from every city. I'm looking to kind of build really a magnet wall. And I mean, it helps you in many different ways. I mean, it allows you to kind of figure out how different people sort of think in their heads from different cultures. And that's something that you can use in many different ways. So naturally in sales is super powerful. So, when I speak to somebody, I don't know, Germany versus France versus the US, it allows you to kind of click very fast and be on the same page, say, a few words maybe from that culture, kind of, connect. Whether you speak about baseball in the US or whether you speak about football in Germany. And yeah, that's really powerful, I would say. So it does help you a fair bit when it comes to doing sales, and probably also, anybody that does marketing as well, kind of, trying to understand how to say even build a better product for those folks. So let's say in our case, when we talk about sort of personalization, we know that we have to also personalize in specific languages, let's say in German and French, etc. Because nobody in these countries, folks don't send in these countries essentially emails in English. So yeah.
From all your time in sales, all the various positions you occupied in various industries, what pain led you to create Salesforge?
I mean, so I've been sending a bunch of templates myself, right, to a lot of different people, because you literally copy paste, right? And if you don't have it like a software. And ultimately, then when I did have a team, we did try and have sort of what's called persona-based templates, etc. But if you think about it from a user's sort of angle, right? So when I receive a bunch of emails as well, whether that's on LinkedIn or whether that's on my inbox, when I see a template, I know it has been automated, right? So I don't feel really the urge to respond back to the person. However, when a person does, take something, say, from my LinkedIn profile, my Twitter handle, etc., and then uses that to sort of personalize the message and kind of relate better with me, then at that point, I do feel like I'm sort of obliged to reply back because it does feel like the person did put in the effort. So I'm kind of going more and more sort of against templates because, I mean, like user fatigue is a huge problem. And it just doesn't work. So the reply rates are kind of dropping. And this is when folks are saying, hey, this whole email is dead. I mean, yes, if you look at it from that standpoint, sending a bunch of emails and then sort of spraying and pray approach, yes, it's dead in that case. Plus the other problem sort of with templates or kind of sending sort of static content is a lot of that sort of lands in spam because naturally Google's fighting against emails that look exactly the same as being sent to scale. And you just land more and more to spam. So this is why, for me, it's a huge problem, right? So huge friction points, right? So a lot of salespeople want to reach out to the prospects. All the big companies in the world always do cold email outreach, whether that's Salesforce or other companies. They've been super successful back in the day. So it's definitely primary channel and scales really well. Instead of you sort of plowing, I don't know, millions of dollars into Facebook ads, Google ads, LinkedIn ads, still from a sort of cost effectiveness standpoint, I would say cold email outreach scales less really. But the dilemma is still those templates, right? So nobody wants to receive another template in their inbox. Everybody, is spoiled by the way things are today with all the chat GPT, etc. So people do expect more and more personalization sort of kind of kicking in, and you are seeing that. So I am getting more and more sort of more personalized emails already in my inbox. So you're seeing that transition sort of from sort of static sort of templates and over to sort of personalizing against that person, against sort of what you're seeing, say, on LinkedIn, maybe on the website, etc. So that's how the world is morphing essentially into sort of this direction.
I feel
that's quite exciting. So
yeah, go ahead, finish up.
No, it's just just quite exciting just to see that the observation from essentially a lot of static content, not just in cold email, but also the way we will be able to leverage this platform is, say, any user that will sign up, let's say, on the website to any sort of software, it doesn't matter what it is, will be able to use the same sort of personalization to personalize the onboarding as well for that user. And this is super powerful, and I'm really excited with all the ChatGPT hype, etc., how such companies are looking to leverage the technology to provide ultimately a better user experience. Yes, that does sound a bit, how shall I say, a bit sort of scary that everything will be personalized and you won't be able to notice what is real, what isn't. But I think that's not the point. Like for me as a user, I want sort of better user experience. Like I'm thinking about Apple. Apple also tries to personalize and give you the best possible experience. But whether they use generative AI or some sort of rules-based marketing or segmentation, whatever it is, I just want to have a personalized experience when I'm using an iPhone or when I'm using a software, when I'm going through inbox, right? That's personalized to me. And same with advertising, right? You don't want to look at some random ads. You want to look sort of at ads that are relevant to you.
Right. And I feel that this is like directly targeted at me because for the podcast, I use quite a lot of templates, like for replies. I send probably the same template like 10 to 15 times a day because I get so many response for the pod. My first question is, even if they've replied to me, can I still get in the spam, or do I have high probabilities of getting in the spam? And second, is my offer that good that even if it's a templated response, I should get a majority of yes and almost no no's?
Yeah, I mean, so templates will work like if you're offering something free, right? Or if the offer is that good that you will respond to a template. But in a lot of cases when companies sell something, the offer is not that good. Like it's not free, right? What you're offering, like, it's not that good. So somebody have to pay money for your service, for your product that you're selling. And that's where, templates kind of effectiveness start drastically sort of drops. Now, sending sort of static sort of email doesn't land in spam. I mean, when users sort of click on Gmail, when they click on the spam button, and the more they click on your on all the kind of emails over time, yes, gradually your email deliverability sort of deteriorates, and you have to use various things about it just to make sure that your open rate is always high. But if you're not sending a lot of emails, it's fine, right? So if you're doing sort of low volume, I mean, if you're sending sort of 10, 15, it's totally fine. Some people, especially in sales, want to send like 50, 100. Some people do 200 emails, like going crazy like that. Google doesn't like that. So it tries to stop. And so yeah, there's multiple mechanisms that you could do to kind of try and stay out of spam, but it is becoming sort of trickier to do business, to do essentially cold email outreach. But ultimately, the people that will use AI will see a drastic improvement in conversion rates versus those that don't, right? So so I don't see really a world, let's say in a few years' time, where a person will not be using some sort of AI to do the job, right? So because all the companies, if you look out there, they all think about how to kind of plug in OpenAI into their kind of processes. If you look at IBM, they're looking to replace like thousands of employees as well and replace very sort of generative AI capability. So you will see the world becoming sort of more productive thanks to the technology. And that's ultimately where we're all headed. I think it's it's better for everybody overall.
Right. Can you demo us the product? Can you like share your screen and then show us like what it's about? And also, I'd like to see the sequence that is leading to 10, 15 meetings a day that you're sending. I'd like to see the outbound sequence and the precise offer that you're sending, because to generate that amount of meeting, Charles level, it needs to be quite good. So I'd like to see it.
Sure, happy to share. So if I just quickly share my screen here. So what you see here in essentially is sort of a sequence building section. So essentially you build your sequence. In order to build a sequence, you need two data sets for AI really to work. So one data set is what we call the product data. So in the product section, you just have to fill out a bunch of information about what is it that you're selling, what's the main pain that you're tackling with prospects, what's the solution that you're offering against that pain, what's the cost of inaction. And that's really enough for the AI to kind of take this piece of information, and then we would personalize against some sort of contact data. The way that it works is, so contact data will be here. I'm going to go into that. So I'm going to show you an example of how we do that. So here you can see a bunch of sequences that are currently running for me. And just one example, it's just very tiny one sample here of 20 contacts that I reached out to. I had 6 replies. That's already 30% reply rate. Then I scaled this up to say 100 contacts. I'm already getting 22 replies at 22% reply rate, right? So, and this is a sequence. So this sequence is just about to stop. The sequence has been started on first day, and you can see that already sending a lot of emails, but I already have 37 replies since first day. So that's the sort of efficiency level that we run, because the answer here shouldn't be like, let's hire more sales reps as an organization, but let's drastically increase the productivity, right? So let's see the magic unfold. So I'm just going to put sort of test one. The product we're going to sell in this particular sequence is Salesforge, right? That we're going to optimize against. I also like, here a couple contacts. So just to show you what happens when we don't necessarily have the LinkedIn URL. So the LinkedIn URL is what we need to personalize against that person. This is where we sort of look at the profile, look at the headline, look at the about section, look at the current title of the user, and then we would essentially personalize against that content. We would also look at sort of the last post that they have written in the last 30 days. And that allows us to really personalize that email. So here we go, we're going to click next. We also validate email addresses. I'm going to skip that here, which is super important to keep your bounce rate as close to 0% as possible. And so since it's like a sequence builder, so multiple steps, emails that you're sending to your folks. And most of the times people would just sort of write a template here. So one of the things that we can already do is we can sort of type first name, we would say, hey, right? So, and the first sort of form of personalization is what we can do natively within the software is sort of building an icebreaker. An icebreaker, the idea is like it's a one-liner, maybe a couple lines about an observation of the prospect on LinkedIn, and then your template may go here. So I wouldn't recommend that really, but it's just, those people that like to have control over their content and they still want to have some sort of template in there, they can do so, but it's not something that I would recommend. So, and that's it. You would send the first name and off you go. Now, most people would write the whole email with AI. So we would click on this toggle. It does ask us for a fallback template. And the fallback essentially template, what it means is, in case we don't have a LinkedIn URL of that particular user, then we will fall back on the template, because you can't have always 100% of sort of LinkedIn URLs for every single person that you're trying to reach out to. So I'm gonna click test. Let's click next, and let's look at the magic unfold for one of the
features. How much time does it take per contact to come up with an AI email?
I mean, you just seen it literally for this one. I mean, less than a second, really. So
okay.
So this is for one.
So a couple of minutes for like 100 contacts.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a functionality here, which is super powerful, where let's say you would upload, let's say, 10,000 contacts that you're trying to reach out to, right? We do have functionality where you would literally click on auto generate all, and it would automatically essentially personalize emails for all 10,000. That's really the sort of efficiency, speed, scale that we can drive for the organizations. And however, those people that are really picky, or maybe they have only a few leads because they're in enterprise sales, maybe the TAM is small, they can be very picky about every single email. As in, they can edit the email that you're seeing in front of you. We can regenerate the whole copy, etc. You click on the next prospect. But really, what I do, and what you have seen sort of in my sequences section, is I literally just click auto generate all, and irrespective of the number of leads that I have in the sequence, that's it. It will be done. Then actually you have a scheduling section, runs a bit boring essentially, but we're also going to do dynamic scheduling because we can see the location of the user on LinkedIn. We'll be able to adjust essentially the time zone and sending essentially schedule based on the location. So that's super powerful, just helps you with your performance. And that's it. So this is how it really works. And then, you receive all the replies in what we call the prime box.
Impressive. Okay. Is it using GPT-4?
Yeah, so right now we're using GPT-4 as a large language model. But naturally, this is not, I wouldn't say it's like super scalable. So imagine if you send a lot more sort of personalized emails, let's say we get to sending, let's say, over 1 million of personalized emails every single day, then GPT-4 will have issues sort of with what's called latency, right? So, in that particular case, we're all looking to transition sort of the large language models over to AWS or cloud, and actually run models now cloud against our sort of data set that we have in-house, and that's sort of a lot more powerful, and will be also more optimized towards sort of sales use cases rather than using sort of a public model. That's kind of the general sort of use case, large language model. So, but yeah, that's where we're headed, and there's a lot of sort of also exciting stuff to come. So what we haven't seen is, let's say, we can personalize in German, let's say, or French, etc., and it'll be like super powerful once we enable that, and yeah.
Pretty interesting. How did you get into Antler, and where did you meet your co-founder, which I guess is the technical one?
So yeah, Antler is a sort of a pre-seed accelerator. So when you're like a day zero founder, right, and you're looking to get from sort of 0 to 1 sort of stage, there are some fantastic accelerators out there. I mean, everybody knows about Y Combinator, etc. But there's also alternative really good options like Antler, for example, or Entrepreneur First. So those two in Europe in particular are really good. So I went to Antler Berlin throughout the first cohort, and really kind of gets like sort of 40, 50 people together. And it's essentially trying to find your kind of co-founder, right? So I'm the commercial dude or sales guy, and I was looking for the technical co-founder. And before I was sort of going to Antler, I actually managed to very weirdly meet these two really cool dudes on Y Combinator matchmaking platform. So that's really a good platform just to go and just an alternative. And you could be, connecting up to 15 people every single week, and you can get a lot of conversations. But really, I thought to myself, hey, the guys are based where I'm based, and there's two of them, and what I'm building is like super complex. So what you're seeing is it looks easy, but to build that is super complex. And there's two of them, so they know each other from first grade. They went to the same university in Denmark. And then they both want to apply, but we're not really successful. We're missing that sort of commercial piece to their sort of success. So that's where I came in. I said, hey guys, listen, I want to build this sort of sales execution sort of super app. What do you think about it? And they thought it's a crazy idea, but yeah, let's go. And let's see where this takes us. So what ended up happening, so I went through the Antler experience. Antler is fantastic when it comes to sort of kind of giving you that focus. And I flew to Berlin because, I have like 5 kids, so I really needed peace and quiet essentially. And that kind of alone time and spending essentially with other sort of, let's call it startup wannabes. We all want to create something that's really valuable for various users out there. And kind of zoning in and really kind of looking at the problem that there is, in our case, like cold email, a bunch of people sending templates, how we can solve that problem, right? How can we, personalize? And it's a fantastic experience. And at the end of it, we can also pitch a startup and, get sort of over 100K, just to get the ground running. And then Antler provides you additional sort of more support. So it's a fantastic program. Highly recommend for everybody that's considering to start a startup where you're essentially missing the co-founder. So for me, the highest value was really, the ability to match with somebody that's super strong. And I can tell you the cohort had really strong people on the technical side. So various sort of machine learning engineers, also some very smart tech people, just purely on the tech side of things. So highly would recommend, because they're super selective as well as to the people that sort of they fly into different locations. So in like Berlin, London, they also have locations in the US, etc., Canada, Britain.
Primebox, we haven't covered that one. You're literally building an inbox and the replies are managed by AI. Is it the same principle of clicking like generate an AI response as you shown us?
Yeah, so the Primebox helps you to aggregate the various sort of emails across any inbox into one environment. It's kind of that unified window, because I have plenty of email addresses, inbox, etc. It allows you to aggregate, reply. We haven't integrated AI yet into that, but we will. As an AI will sort of look at your whole threads, your conversation that you have with a prospect, and then it will recommend you to essentially craft for you like a unique email. So we're not there yet, but it's something that's coming later in the year, and that will be super powerful to kind of speed up the kind of replying back to the prospect, because it's super important. Reason being, when a prospect replies to you, and if you don't manage to reply to that email within 4 hours, then your probability for a deal or a meeting happening actually drops massively. So you want to make sure you're replying quickly. So there's a few mechanisms you can reply quickly. One is like getting sort of an alert or notification. The other one is like helping AI to craft a quick response and then replying back, right? So that the deal progresses. So AI is ultimately the way, but some of the folks sort of, use sort of a template to reply back. But again, as I said, I'm not a fan of templates. I can see when somebody's sending me a template. I get sort of, distance from that person when somebody sends me a template. I still believe in a world where people do business with people. I understand that crafting unique emails is, takes a very long time to do all the research, etc. So the AI can speed that up. But at the end of the day, people do business with people, and that will never go away. So I don't see a world where AI is just talking to AI and buying from each other. That's just not going to happen. But it definitely can help you to speed up to get to that initial meeting, which is actually the hardest part of the sales process.
So Salesforge starts at 50 USD a month. It seems to be on per user trial basis. So I just signed up. Hopefully you can give me access and I can try it. What do you say of the competition that is building somewhat similar tools? I use Apollo. Their AI feature is quite weak for now, but they've got like 200x your funding and the workforce to kind of build these features. How do you make sure to stay relevant and to compete against these big boys?
Good question, because we're bootstrapped for now still. Unless somebody's going to reach out after this, after this. Okay. And so the way you compete is you need to figure out, you need to figure out what's the opportunity here, right? So we figured out, okay, Apollo is really great at providing a lot of data, right? B2B, very strong in that front. But we always knew that Apollo is relatively weak on the cold email front. So yes, it can, write sequence, etc. Yes, it has the basic requirements, but I don't think they got, the gist of how salespeople operate and what they really need on the sequencing front. As in, yes, they have AI capabilities, but they're not really great. And I don't think anybody's raving about all sort of sequencing capability. Everybody's raving about this sort of cost of value in terms of looking at sort of a B2B database. So they're very strong on that. So what you need to do as a startup, then, if somebody's really strong with that and they're very heavily sort of VC funded, lots of money, like think where you can actually make a difference. So let's say if we would start building a B2B database, I don't think we'll be able to provide a ton more value, say, than Apollo. But where we do see an edge is like, okay, folks go and get their leads in Apollo. Now, Apollo is not really great when it comes to driving the impact from those leads. So as in drive the results, drive meetings, replies, etc. So that's where we come in. And there's a bunch of other sort of tools that help you to process leads, whether that's, the big guys, again, Outreach, or Sales Love, etc. in this space. But there again, they don't necessarily take care of your email deliverables there, and they don't really help you to drive big impact. So we thought to ourselves, if we will be able to craft unique emails to every single recipient at scale, that'll be huge for a lot of people. So all the person really does is, downloads the leads from Apollo, uploads them for now to Salesforge. In the future, there'll be bidirectional syncs naturally, just to do it quickly, and so integrations. But yeah, because ultimately, at the end of the day, the job of a salesperson or head of sales is very simple. Drive what's called pipeline coverage, so meaning ton of pipeline for the business for them to be able to close. And whatever their target is, let's say the target is 3 million, the pipeline coverage usually has to be about 3x. So that means they have to be able to find out where they can get 3x pipeline coverage for the target that they need to get. So there's three main challenges, Nicole. Number one is get the leads. So you go to Apollo, go to any other database, go to ZoomInfo, go to Sondors, go to many others. Problem number two is how do you scale the cold email outreach while staying up spam? That's a huge problem. So we solve that part. And then a huge really piece is like that, email copy that you send. Super important because, just to give you an idea. So there's a bunch of players out there that give you the ability to send a lot of templates, right? At scale, really humongous. Let's say, for example, they would drive, say, a 5% reply rate. The template is good, but 5%. So we could be also lower as well. But what if, instead of 5%, your reply rate would be 10%? Because you just, literally personalize every single one of those emails at scale. And 10% means double the output, double the pipeline that you're generating from the number of leads that you're posting. And that's, the humongous value that we provide to our users right now. And we're seeing the impact, because we're using our software as well, right? So we're essentially dog fooding, right? So using our software to drive the growth, we also see very healthy reply rates. And across our customer base is, 18.3% right now based on last week's data, which is really great. So we're going to see how it progresses over time. Then we'll clients on board with different sort of industries, ICPs, etc. But yeah, I'm really looking forward on multiple fronts because AI will get better, right? So GPT, there'll be GPT-5 in the future, right? And stuff like that. So it's get better and better over time. So emails will get better and better over time. And so that's really what excites me, as in delivering better buyer experience and better seller experience at the end of the day. So if both sides are happier over time, it just good for everybody essentially.
Love it, Frank. Where can people find out more about you and Salesforge?
I mean, Salesforge is very straightforward. Salesforge.ai, feel free to check it out. But if you have any questions about cold email deliverability, staying out of spam, writing really unique emails, just search for me on LinkedIn. Frank Sondors, very straightforward, easy to find. I'm the only one, the guy with the bacon emoji, essentially. Very easy to find. And yeah, that's about it.